There's a battle being fought for public spaces all over the country. In no place is it more apparent than in one of the grandest spaces of all, New York's Grand Central Station.
Grand Central Station. It's grand and it's central.
Hey, YouTubers, man. I got a problem. I've been looking at this, what they call Mandela effect. If it's CERN or if it's the devil, I don't know. The one thing I know is I've been noticing changes myself, and I'm really angry because a lot of people don't. It's like it's nonchalant. Oh well, as long as I keep on going on with my life, and I'm looking like, man, how can you not be angry? Because if they can change the past, they can wipe out your family. They can wipe out whoever's doing it. They can wipe out you. You can be non-existence tomorrow. And changing, Captain Crunch to Captain Crunch, and changing, small things like Snow White, which you say, mirror, mirror on the wall, to Magic Mirror, and things like changing Forrest Gump to life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. To life was like a box of chocolate. All of that's just small things. They say if you want to do a test, you do small tests where people not noticing, and a lot of people walking around not noticing because they don't care. But I'm angry because they're beginning to change the Bible, and that's my main thing. They changing the word, man. I don't remember the word having Easter, Christmas, or none of the holidays because they in the Bible. And I just read this morning, another YouTuber, put it attention that in Acts 12:4, it says Easter. Where Peter was locked up in jail, they said we're gonna wait till after Easter, and it's supposed to be Passover. And where they make their mistake is that in all other translations it says Passover, but that don't make sense. Why would you have in the King James version a today's word like Easter and take out Passover and leave Passover in the other translation? So that was an error on their part. So go read Acts 12:4. And things like the Brady Bunch Vanity Hour, I never seen that. And I just noticed that the stoplights in my city have been changed. It used to be the green light on the top and the red light at the bottom. Now it's done flipped. Home Depot used to be Home Depot. Now it's the Home Depot. Sex in the City is now Sex and the City. It's just angering me because people like, oh well, most people I say, well, things change. And I keep telling them it's not things change, they changing in the past, man. So if they can change the past, me as a black person, I'm not, if they can change that, they can make me a slave again. Because they can say, well, we didn't never sign the Emancipation Act. We didn't give women the right to vote. We didn't do that. So they can change history. And we sitting around like, whoop-de-doo, as long as I can make my money. We so selfish, I can get me a job and all of that. Or as long as I can buy me some Jordans, or as long as my family is eating. But it might be a time where it's coming to your door. And then what? We all gonna be quiet and say, well, it ain't my fault. It's a conspiracy or whatever, however the word go. But it can't be that because I'm seeing these things change. I know the word Easter is not in the Bible. I know this because I read the Bible many a years. The holidays is not in the Bible. Come on now. So it's just angering me that people just not understanding and not really paying attention. And so and my whole thing of this thing is, if you ain't got it right with God or whatever you believe in, it's time to check on your family, say your prayers, and get ready, because it's like people really don't care. It's just another thing to them. Well, oh well, oh well, oh well. But man, this is real. This is like the rubber meeting the road. This is not something that we can shrug off like, oh well, just another thing. I can't do nothing about it. You know, if all the people that fought for this country and fought for, you know, equal rights and all of that, it's just fought for us being America. If they say, well, I can't do nothing about it, then nothing will be done. You know, if CERN is doing all this stuff and changing our reality, they shouldn't be allowed to do that. Sometimes curiosity killed the cat. Don't worry about time and time travel because that don't nothing. In every movie I look at, everything dealing with time travel, it never ends up right.
Doing a lot of thinking. At this time, the Mandela effect is becoming mainstream. People like Jeff Dunham can't resist the urge to ridicule it. But this is the very sort of thing that we should expect. It is, after all, the epitome of delusion to disagree with history and facts. And this is the elephant in the room that we all must deal with. Which is okay with me because I have confidence in my own mind. If nothing else, we're different. I would know every time I looked to the sky and saw a sun, which is white. But in all my history of construction work, the sun that I worked under, the sun I grew up under, was never white at any time of the day. And for someone to tell me that I don't even know what color the sun was compared to what color it is now, is to tell me that basically I'm an idiot. So let me tell you that I know what I know. Now, by every measure, the effect is real. But I would say that most of us have a great deal of difficulty understanding what that reality means. Is it real? Because we just can't remember. But the experiences of a lifetime outweigh such considerations. And what makes us back off from the effect, what makes us take breaks from it, is the fear of separation, one of the 5 basic fears we all are subject to. We don't want to be shamed, we don't want to be ridiculed, because it gives us a separation from the rest of humanity. I choose to see that although others may reject me and ridicule and shame me, I'm still one with those people, even though they can't see that. My own son is very materialist, but I understand that. We have 5 senses that continually testify to the solidity of the world, where everything that is called matter is by far mostly empty space. Would I like for people to accept my testimony as valid? Yes. Unfortunately, only those who have experienced the effect are willing to even consider it. Am I bothered by silly things like the Ford logo having a silly little pigtail curlicue in the end? Now it makes me laugh. I think it's funny. But I worked on Fords all my life. Being a lower middle class person, I always had to do my own repairs, and I owned many Fords. And I testify that that curlicue never existed in my past, but now it does. And that gets me to my point that even though we're suffering from a break in continuity of information, we must accept where we are. And I think that's what that initial fear is when we realize that the Mandela effect is a real thing that has caused a discontinuity between what we remember and what we can see and research now. It's very disconcerting to realize that the past you remember never existed in this time stream. But if you have a strong mind, you won't give in to that. You will insist on trying to understand what has happened. And this is what I've done. And I think it will help a lot of you to get a handle on what's happened, what's going on now, and how that understanding can help each of us to have some control over the reality that we move into.
And it's very bizarre, and it's making me wonder, is this a conspiracy? But I don't think so. I think something's going on here. Body changes in the skeletal structure of the eyes, you know, the bones and stuff in the sockets. It wasn't there before. I mean, there's just so much weird stuff happening I can't really explain that nobody else probably could explain. And we can only speculate of what's going on. And I was thinking maybe we're in an alternate reality. And I was thinking that the people that are not affected are the people that are still in the other reality we were in. And these versions that we're seeing on YouTube are just a shadow version of themselves. I know that may sound bizarre to you, but I was just speculating, trying to figure this out. My next theory could possibly be that this is a strong delusion. I think something's really going on and people aren't talking about it. So that's what makes it even more bizarre. It just doesn't, I don't get it. Anyhow, we got to look at all aspects of the spectrum to really grasp what's really going on. We just can't go with one side and say, this is it, multiple reality theory. And that's not what's going on. I think that, yeah, it could be that it's a strong delusion, or that this is the most confusing thing, or somebody's doing something, like maybe CERN or like the D-Wave, or who knows what's going on. But there's just so many ways to look at this, and I'm really thinking about it in a different way, a different light, because it's bizarre. You got the simulation theory that we're in a matrix and it can't be manipulated, and I don't know, that's probably why the geography of the earth has changed and is not familiar to certain people. But you know what's very bizarre? There are people who are saying that things changed for them, right? They go to their family, but basically their family are like, it's always been this way. And that's what's even worse. It's like, and that's what makes me think it's just deeper than what everybody is talking about, because this is crazy. Like, how could this be even possible humanly? I mean, it must be something we could never comprehend unless we were in the spiritual realm. I don't know. It's just something I got to think about. But I'm just putting thoughts out there to give you an idea of how I'm thinking. You know, it's just so bizarre, so crazy. This is crazy. This Mandela effect is really nuts. I don't get why there are people on YouTube making videos like it's not even happening. It's like a conspiracy. It's like people are just ignoring you, or not ignoring you, but ignoring the the elephant in the room. And that blows my mind. It's like, wow, how could this even be possible? I just don't understand. It's man.
I just wanted to mention to you that we're not going crazy, okay? Something major is happening. At first I was freaked out. I didn't know what to think. I couldn't believe it, couldn't believe my own eyes. And it had a lot to do with my memory, our memories. And as far as, let's say, okay, J.C. Penney. Now, if you can remember this, how was it spelt to you? How was J.C. Penney spelt to you? J.C. Penney's, okay? I remember it being spelled J.C. and then Penny, P-E-N-N-Y. Now we're seeing it being spelt as J.C. and then Penny, P-E-N-N-E-Y. I never ever remembered it being J.C. Penney that way, okay? How many people remember Bragg's amino? Okay, it's like that soy sauce stuff that you use. Bragg's amino. Well, it's not spelt Bragg's anymore. It is spelt Bragg amino. Now, there's a lot more. There's a lot more. A crap load more.